back to Andertons TV for a massively impromptu video.
Very, very impromptu.
Because literally an hour or so ago, I get a text message with a picture of a wall in Andertons and just a message going, "I'm here!" and look, it's Nathaniel Murphy,
Thanks for having me.
Is back in Blighty.
Back in Blighty, yes.
In these fair shores, just for Christmas.
Just for the festive season, you know,
Yeah.
and you know.
And although we've spoken on in YouTube land before and on text and stuff, first time we've met face to face.
Yes.
And Nathaniel, if you're don't recognise him, is a phenomenal guitar player with this amazing Instagram channel of you know, brilliant sort of takes on other classic songs. And also, of course, one of the main demo guys for our friends at Chicago Music Exchange.
Yes, I'm very lucky, very honoured that I get to do that. And thank you so much for the kind words. And for letting me stop
honestly,
by.
it's so. First and foremost, because I can never get the pronunciation right. Is it zeppelinatra? Is that
again, it's too late to change the name of it, but it's zeppelinbarnatra. Weird, I know. It's too late to change it. Long story.
Zeppelinbarnatra.
Barnatra. So it's the name of the village in Ireland that my family's from. But a lot of people.
Even the Zeppelin bit is.
No, that.
Oh, I see. So Zeppelin is as in. I was thinking. I've never heard of a village in Ireland called Zeppelin. So Barnatra is the village in Ireland.
It's a village in Ireland again.
And Zeppelin is what? Just a nod to Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Manchester, but a long story with the whole name of it. Very boring. I won't go into it, but it's too late to change it. So.
I don't mind.
And it caused a lot of confusion. It's like, hey, I get people in America, "Hey, you Zeppelinbarnatra?" It's like, yeah. Which is
that's
nice.
your name. Yeah, that would be a cool name. So, come on, let's do the potted history then of how does a Irish-born, Manchester-raised, football coaching, guitar playing, you know, Irish/Englishman end up in Chicago doing videos for CME?
It's very strange. I kind of still pinch myself as to how that happened. Growing up on not the nicest area in Manchester, not the worst, and then ended up in Chicago coaching football and, like I said, doing demo videos for CME. I moved to America it'll be 10 years in March.
Yeah.
I was coaching football there, soccer, for the past.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm so used to it now.
I know, you have to say soccer, don't you? Otherwise, half our audience will assume that you're a quarterback
Football.
or something. But yes, as in football.
Yes, not hand.
As opposed
egg.
to hand egg, yes.
I'm going to get killed.
You are going to get killed, but it's okay for us. We don't have to go back.
So I was doing that for the past 10 years, well, 9.5 years, and then I was doing I started doing the full-time thing with CME. Because I used to go in there. I used to live nearby it. And a couple of guys in there, I got to know them, and they were like, "Hey, would you mind doing a couple of videos sometime?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. I'd be honoured." And it kind of just, they'd keep asking me back and back. So it was a huge honour for me. I'm very thankful for it. And I'm there kind of full time now doing demo work. So a lot of fun.
Guitar playing. I was always quite surprised because I think you're easy to find on Instagram because everything you do is reposted by every guitar channel that there is.
Yeah.
So I think, I was quite familiar with your face before I saw you on CME and stuff like that. So where did that... Well, actually, let's go back even before. How old were you when you learned to play guitar, and what was your sort of growing up kind of influences?
I got a guitar for my 13th birthday, a week before. My granny from Ireland sent over some money. I got my first guitar in Argos.
Yeah.
Straight out of the catalogue, it's fine. Came with a little pitch pipe, I'm blowing it and thinking, what's this meant to do here? But
what will Americans know Argos as?
Argos would be like
a Walmarty type thing?
Kind of like Sears,
or
maybe.
Sears maybe.
Possibly, something similar to that.
Yeah.
So not where you would go for a guitar, typically.
But probably a lot of kids will get their first guitar.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with it because it suited me down to the ground.
Yeah.
Didn't do me any harm. Started when I was 13. Now, obviously, growing up in the 90s in basically the same area in Manchester as the whole Oasis, Stone Roses indie thing.
Yeah.
You can't help but get absorbed into that. So obviously, I got into all the 90s indie, particularly Oasis and whatnot. But then I found Led Zeppelin, and then obviously classic rock, and then got into Guthrie Govan and people like that. Couldn't play it, obviously. But then, I'd find I didn't really sing. I don't sing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make it more enjoyable for myself and anyone who happened to be listening to me. So it was kind of arranging songs and trying to play all the parts to a song, very Tuck Andress like.
Right.
I seen him do an arrangement of Man in the Mirror, and I was like, I've never heard anything like that. That's outrageous, So I really got into that. Obviously Joe Pass, stuff like that. So a bit of everything, really,
Because that's interesting. That 90s, that was the era for me of like the anti-Guitar Hero. It was like, because, I'm a bit older than you are, and obviously, during the 80s, everything was about, whether it was Clapton or Knopfler all the way through to Satriani and Vai and all that kind of thing.
Malmsteen.
And then like the 90s was almost just like, no, it's like 3 chords, and we're just going to write Wonderwall.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I know probably...
probably Nirvana before the hand.
Yeah, what was John... the Stone Roses guy.
John Squire.
John Squire. I know him and Johnny Marr were maybe a little bit more Guitar Hero-y.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really, it wasn't big solos.
It wasn't too in your face.
No.
Like,
So how did you go from, that to like, because you went, I was listening to Stone Roses and Guthrie Govan. It's like, it's like giganto leap. So he must have just done like erotic cakes or something.
He must have. You know where it was from? It was from the old Guitar Techniques magazines.
Yeah.
So I used to get them down in the shop, and I'd see like Guthrie, and I'd see all the people in the magazines, and like Guthrie would have transcribed something like. I remember there was a clip where he did Cliffs of Dover or something like that.
Yeah.
Tried to learn it and whatnot, and then I seen, more of Guthrie out and about. Again, I can't claim to play any of his stuff, certainly not correctly or at full speed, but it was strange. Literally through magazines, I'd discover things like it'd be Total Guitar or Guitar Techniques. There's a world of information there.
He's different. Guthrie would teach at the music college in Guildford.
Yeah.
Before, I wouldn't say before he was famous, but like when he was really just famous for being like voted as like guitarist of the year, before he'd really had much music or had played with anyone.
Yeah.
But yes, he was and it's like lunatic level player.
Yeah.
But okay, so as far as the arrangements were concerned, then did that ever translate into bands and stuff like that, or have you always just been a sort of playing for your own?
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of it was just playing on my own. Like I played in a couple of bands, nothing crazy or anything. Growing up, and it was a way of just, like I said, entertaining myself. I like the challenge. Basically, it fell into the category of I like the sound of that. I don't know how to play it. Why not try and learn it? There's that old cliche. There's only 12 notes. You're gonna fall upon the right one at some point.
You've got 1 in 12 chance of hitting the right note.
Now, whether you can do it convincingly or not, who knows? But yeah, it was that's always been a thing for me. If I like the sound of something, and it's going to be countless other people out there that like the sound of something. I don't know that, but I want to learn it. I'll go learn it. That was.
I wonder if do you think the internet has suited you then from a set? Because I know, because when I first started following your Instagram channel and things, I thought, I wonder if he's got any of his own music.
Yeah.
And I was sort of a bit disappointed that there wasn't more. So you're obviously. It almost feels to me like you. What's the right way of? You're almost, the challenge is to take someone else's piece of music and try and recreate that in your own way on a guitar, rather than feeling like you've got lots of your own kind of songs sort of coming out.
I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, I've got loads of my own ideas. I just haven't got around to doing it with a band or anything yet. I've got like riffs and songs I did in my late teens. Never actually went through with it. New year, new me, right? This is the year I think about doing.
Is that what it is? Yeah, January 2022.
Yeah,
Come on.
Taking a while.
This is the year of the album.
Yeah. I don't know, it's strange how I should be doing more kind of solo stuff. Like I did a solo acoustic album, because I've got very influenced by Michael Hedges and Preston Reed. So I did like an album that was that kind of style, that kind of genre, solo acoustic guitar. But yeah, I've always had the dream of doing like a full band kind of stuff with the singer. I don't sing.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to get around to that at some point.
I'm intrigued about the football side of things, and then the move to Chicago and everything like that. But so let's kind of cover that off. But what I really want to get to is is the basic, you know, what is it about a piece of music and how do you break that down into something that you're going to do? But to cover off, so you know, how old were you when you moved out to Chicago in what, your mid-20s or early 20s?
Like a couple of weeks before my 25th birthday.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And what, just wanted to go and see the big wide world, or
it was
go to Buddy Guy's Blues Club, or
yeah, that, and you know, just see America and whatnot, you know, just experience it all. Obviously a girlfriend. Yeah, it was a combination of all those things. Like a mate of mine was over there coaching football, and he said, "Oh, I can get you a job over here doing it." I was like, "Okay, you know, why not?" Wasn't much going on for me. At the time in Manchester, I was teaching guitar.
Yeah.
And I was teaching like over 40 different people a week, so I was getting a little bit tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, moving to Chicago, the goal for me was always to do something with the guitar in, you know, some sort of capacity. And thankfully, you know, it's only taken 10 years, but I'm doing it now. Thanks, me. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's turned out. You know?
I think it's mad in a way that, you know, YouTube is definitely. I always say, you know, to Pete, you know, he's more recognised now as a guitar player, doing what I guess we still think of as like little old Andertons videos than he ever was playing in front of 80,000 people on some of the biggest tours in the world. And it's like there is this weird, like, YouTube is this new, I don't want to say like the new rock star kind of thing, but it almost, it feels like, yeah, I mean, you know, if 1 million people watch you on YouTube, then
I mean,
it's nuts,
it's
right?
strange, the whole social media thing, because I never set out for, like, obviously the whole Instagram thing has helped me out enormously, but I never set out for that. I wasn't on Instagram for the longest time, you know, the whole social media thing. I was busking out on the street in Michigan Avenue, which is like the main, it'd be like Oxford Street, you know, the equivalent. I'd be busking there, and at the time I had like a little card, you know, Nathaniel Murphy phone number, email address, guitarist, you know, if someone wanted to play a lunch or whatever. And I'd be getting emails of people saying, "Oh, I love your videos on Instagram." I'm like, you know, what is that? And at the time, Instagram, I thought it was, you know, just pictures of food and, you know, makeup tutorials or something. Very naive of me, very silly of me. But obviously it's turned into something, you know, huge. I mean, I posted a couple of videos and like, oh, people seem to be enjoying this, do some more, and it just kept snowballing, and, you know, it's helped me out, you know.
So come on then, what is it about a song that you hear that makes you want to, do you know what, I think years and years ago, we had a very talented guitar player in the store that did that Man in the Mirror.
Yeah.
The same version that you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's like, it was like jaw-dropping when someone does that well.
Yeah.
But what is it about, you know, is there a certain structure to a song or something about it that makes you think, do you know what, that would suit this? Or is it trial and error?
It's very strange. Like, there's so many songs that I've tried to arrange and it just doesn't work, you know, and like the formula, kind of essentially what you're talking about there, it can be tricky. Like, there's times where I've gone out seeking to, you know, arrange a song and it just doesn't work. And then you'll be in the car or someone will come on Spotify, whatever, and it's like, bang, that'll do it. Because you'll hear like the bass line with the melody against it, maybe the harmony, the progression or whatever, and you think, you know, that could work beautifully. And sometimes, you know, more often that is the best way I find that it comes.
Can you, I mean, give us you don't have to play the whole thing, but, you know, is there like 20, 30 seconds of something? And again, I know we're in sort of standard tuning here and you'll play around with different tunes.
Yeah, we'll go clean for this, I think. I mean, just any sort of, like an actual song or like a bass line, how to approach maybe a bass line with like a little thing over the top, or?
Yeah, because I'm sure, you know, you'll have seen Nathaniel doing this, but, you know, you are, it's a real mix, isn't it, of normal sort of looking like it's playing and then a bit of tap, but I don't know, what do you try and get down first? Is it the bass line first, left-hand sort of bass line?
Yeah, kind of. Like, again, it depends how far you want to go into keeping the song true to the original, I find. I personally prefer to do that more often than not, but there's nothing saying you can't, you know, make it your own.
Yeah.
You know, I find that to be great as well. Let's say, I mean, could I do like Beatles or something like that?
We don't worry about copyright strikes. We're all fine here.
Let's say, so I'll do a Beatles or a Elton John kind of thing. I did, what's that? I mean, little things like that. It's no, it's not nothing crazy. Obviously, there's a couple of extended techniques and whatnot. But I've always found like, for that particular song, I mean, I love the song. I wanted to try and keep it pretty true to the original. Try and get the melody in. Like, there's parts there where I could have, you know, maybe try and do the note down here and try and fret it. But I'd sacrifice something else. Like, I want those notes to ring out a little bit longer. Same with the let's see, I have to get that bass note in. Now, you know, that sounds sloppy now when I move the thumb along. Plus, it's not comfortable, so I kind of do that. Say, for example, that next part. I could do that. Sounds right. Now I'm not playing it, you know, slightly worse on purpose. I just found that. You know, it sounds quite nice in that way. You know,
it's epic. So, and I'm still. I mean, again, there's loads and loads of songs that you could have chosen there, but that seems very sort of melody driven.
Yeah.
And the bass side of things isn't. I'm not going to say it's not complicated because I couldn't do
certainly
it. But
not a lot.
I've seen you do stuff with way more complicated, like walking bass lines in it. And
okay, we'll try this. I did a version of a Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yes.
And there's a little bit more going on in that one. Now, I'm guaranteed now that I'm here to mess it up. But I'll do a shortened like.
People should know as well. This is all live, one take. It's like it's so cool.
I'll try. I will mess it up.
Is this the one you did sitting in the window of? Or is that?
All my videos are sat by the window.
Just sat by the window. Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, they're all. That's because I live in a very small apartment, you know, and my neighbours, they're not the, you know, friendliest of people when I'm playing. But anyway, I'll give it a shot. I probably will mess it up. There we go. But a little bit rough in places, but yeah. I mean, I've always enjoyed that kind of playing. As
but players-wise, it's slightly reminiscent of that kind of wave of guitar players that was sort of that 50s style. Exactly. Who am I thinking of? I'm a bit rubbish with the sort of names, but it sort of feels like there's a real sense of. I remember talking to. I can't remember if it was Tommy Emmanuel or someone like that who was going when he first got his guitar, he didn't even realise that bass guitar players were a thing. If he was trying to play a song, he would do that.
Do all the parts.
You know, and it's that. But it's interesting that you, apart from saying Joe Pass at the beginning, you didn't really refer to any of those players. So is that just a coincidence, or are there players?
No. I was definitely influenced by that kind of style of thing with the whole Chet Atkins thing, for example. Now, technically, I didn't learn too many of his songs, but certainly his approach, you know, certain aspects. Like I remember being sat on the edge of my bed trying to do just, and and do like a little melody over the top, and it took me forever. It was a point where I was thinking, I'm never going to be able to do this, you know, and I'd leave it and then I'd go back to it, and just never gave up. But certainly that kind of approach, I mean, there's plenty of players who've been doing this, you know, for decades and decades, and I just find it fun to try and do that. Again, like I said, it kind of came about for me personally. I wasn't really playing with anyone at the time. You know, I wanted to make it more interesting for myself, a challenge for myself, and for anyone who, you know, might be silly enough to listen to me. You know, so.
Who's the? I mean, from a training perspective, I hadn't realised you were teaching guitar before. But if people are watching this and they're kind of interested in maybe playing that style, I mean, it's more than it's an amazing party trick. As in, like, you know, I don't mean that.
I know.
I don't mean that sort of like in any sort of bad way. I just mean as in, it's so cool to be able to just have a repertoire of songs where you're not just literally playing the chords, you're playing the whole part.
Yeah.
But you know, if someone else is going, I'd love to be able to do that kind of thing. Is there a, you know, a route for tuition that you would suggest someone went down? Or
I suppose the way I kind of started off doing that would have been like the whole Chet Atkins, Merle Travis kind of thing. You got your alternating bass and, you know, doing a melody over top. I mean, that's been going even before them, you know, like back to the kind of Delta blues does certainly that to an extent. But I'd recommend going back to there, maybe Chet Atkins, Merle Travis. But there's even players today who do that kind of stuff. There's a Welsh lad, I've forgotten his name. Welsh Tornado is his Instagram thing. Gareth something. He's amazing. There's Joe Robinson. Like there's so many players out today.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Dawes as well. I mean, you're kind of jumping in at the deep end with Mike Dawes, obviously.
Mike does Mike's got his own thing going on, hasn't he? Right. But I know what you mean.
That's eventually. Yes. You know, very long. You know,
adding in all the percussion style as well. Yeah.
I mean, he's incredible.
So, I guess we have to talk about gear because you know, we've talked about how you play and live and all that kind of stuff. But gear-wise, I mean, you work in a guitar store, so I mean, is it like you like a kid in a candy shop, or are you actually not what people would think? You're like a one guitar man?
That's a tricky question. Now, at home, like if I'm doing videos and stuff, I am very, very basic. You know, I use a Roland Street Cube, you know, that I bought in Manchester and I brought over to me when I was busking. I use that. I can't go loud because my neighbours will complain. I used to put it on. I used to have 2 cushions. I put the amp on 2 cushions, and that was it. You know. But yeah, at home I just use like a little Roland Street Cube. I do have like a Princeton and a Supro, Black Magic Reverb, both great amps. Yeah. I'm not allowed to crank them. I just can't do it. I use that. And in terms of guitars at home, there's a Taylor 614 CE that I like to use. And I've just got a basic second-hand telly that I got when I moved there. I've got a few others which I'm very, you know, thankful for as well, and I use a lot. I've got a Gibson ES 335. I think it's from like 2012 or 13 or something. And those two they're probably 2 guitars I'd say.
What's the telly? Just a American Standard or professional? Or
it was, you know, it is, like I said, I bought it second-hand. It was about $800, and it's a reissue, a 2011 anniversary.
Okay, just a stock standard telly.
Standard telly. I love it. You know, it plays great. I've started to get, you know, the natural wear marks in it and everything, so I'm quite proud of that. I mean, I could probably do changing out the pickups because they do hum quite a bit, but that's just, you know, that's just me and maybe not looking after it. I don't know, but they're my main 2 guitars. And
I saw you got a J2, the Noel Gallagher J200. Yeah. That was a gift, right?
That was a gift from the guys at CME. So
don't go getting any ideas.
Come on, treat someone. I mean, I'm still blown away by that. Like all the guys at CME, like Andrew Yonke in particular, helped me out with that. It was. I'm still over the moon with that. That was a big surprise. So obviously there was only 200 made, something like that. Yeah. And they said, we've got one, we're going to do a demo video of it. And I always said, look, if you ever get that guitar, dibs on that demo, I'm doing it. Yeah. And, you know, happened to get it. And now what I usually get the chance to bring home the guitar maybe over the weekend to get used to, you know, figure out what I'm going to play for the demo. And so I'm texting him and a few of the other guys saying, you know, I love this guitar. Is there any chance, you know, do we know where this person lives? Like, would I be able to borrow it off them and they can borrow something of mine, you know, just literally for a few hours? I'd love to do some videos with it. And they're texting me back saying, oh, we're not so sure, blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, they're texting each other, not me, saying, oh, we've got him. We definitely got him. You know, he has no idea. So sneaky, but, you know, brilliant at the same time. And then obviously I'm doing the demo, and a few more people are coming into the room. I'm thinking, hang on, what's going on here? And then obviously the boss comes in, it's on camera, I'm thinking, you know, something's not right here. And then he
You're going to get your P45.
Yeah. Fixed it. Yeah. You're done, mate, sorry. Yeah, and that was it. It was, you know, I'm very, very thankful for it. Very lucky for it.
And then,
cool.
Are you a pedal guy?
You know what, I've become more of a pedal guy. Like when I first started doing a lot of the demos, only in the past couple of years really, I've been getting into pedals a little bit more, but I'm not massively into them. And I think that's partly because I never really, you know, I still get confused by a lot of them. But growing up, I didn't really have any. I had like for my 16th birthday, I treated myself to like a Zoom 606 multi-effects processor, and that was it.
Put you off for life.
Partly, yeah. But no, I think there's definitely an art to it, to being, you know, some of the sounds that people create. I'm always amazed at what people can do with them. And I would love to be able to be better at that kind of thing.
Do you loop, or did you sort of? Is it almost like you don't need to?
Well, that was the.
You could do some crazy stuff if you like. You know, you could like be like four-handed.
You could. No, I never got too much into looping. I'll use loops for like maybe improvising or working on. You know, if I'm doing like 2-5-1s or something like that. You know, a little bit of soloing or whatnot. But I'll do some now and again, and they are quite fun. I am inspired to see people like, you know, Ed Sheeran and people like that, some of the stuff that they can do with it, but I never got too into them, to be quite honest. Now that said, there is pedals out there that I do really like. I mean, I'm fairly basic with what I like. You know, I bought an 80s Ibanez chorus pedal from the shop a couple of months ago, and it's perfect. You know, it's only 2 dials, on, off, boom. That's all I want. But yeah, I mean, you're quite the pedal expert now at this point.
You gotta love pedals.
Yeah. No, it's not like I don't like them. You know, it's just I never got into them that much, but I certainly would like to learn more about them. You know,
I think we I don't know really. It's I'm not a big amp gain person.
Right. Okay.
So I like guitars. Different guitars inspire me to do different things.
Yeah.
Amps wise, I don't really have an opportunity to play crazy loud ever. And I'm not recording or gigging or anything like that. I'm just noodling and messing around. Yeah. And I kind of feel like pedals are just, you know, they're just a little bit easier to sort of, you know, get tones at lower volumes and stuff. I wouldn't, look, I mean, it is part of I am still staggered by how the music industry supports 500 different pedal manufacturers who all seem to be able to make their version of a tube screamer, you know, and every single one is just like, oh, I wonder what this does, you know, it's just like, so there's a never ending. Yeah. Look, I wonder, you know, I massiply appreciate you coming in.
It's my pleasure. I'm
delighted. Just so you guys know, literally, I knew Nathaniel was in the UK, and he very graciously said I might stick my head in the door if I'm near Guildford or whatever. But honestly, the first I knew that he was here was when he texted me with a photograph of him in the store going, I'm here. And the video wasn't planned.
Nope.
Everything you've played today, you've just, you know, wasn't planned. So you're such a talented guy, and it's very, you know, nice of you just to sit and do some videos. So I do hope, if you haven't, you know, if you're sitting there going, somehow or other, I've not seen this man's face on Instagram, I'll put a link to his channel below, and obviously all the CME stuff is easy to find on their website. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I hope, you know, I know you're flying back to the States soon, but I hope, you know, whether it's at NAMM shows or whatever in the future, we'll get to hang out again and go for a beer or something this time.
Yes, definitely.
But I think we should play out with something. I'm going to kind of leave you to choose your favourite or one of your favourite ones, and also one that, you know, you've played recently rather than trying to dredge something up from 7 or 8 years ago. But everybody, please show your appreciation virtually in the comments section for Nathaniel Murphy. And yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
This will be a nod to Tuck Anderson and to Ben Lacey, as we mentioned before. So a little bit of Stevie Wonder. 1, 2, 1, 2.